Imagine being everything for everybody and not doing what you need to do for yourself. That has been my story for a long time. In 2021, I was diagnosed with a terminal illness called pulmonary fibrosis, which means my lungs are stiffening and I will need a double lung transplant. The impact of that, it shifted my entire world. I had no idea what life would look like for me moving forward. Hearing from the doctor that I was terminally ill, there was no reversal for it, all I could hear was a death sentence. I knew I would not be the vibrant person, the overachiever, the all things, do everything for everyone that I was before. But what I also realized that I was slowly burning myself out while trying to be everything for everyone else. That led me to be the founder and CEO of Gold Mind Thoughts. When I started to pour into myself, when I sat down and I decided that I needed to show up for the person who has always showed up for everyone else. In doing so, I now train, shape, mold individuals, organizations, and communities, not only shifting their mind, but improving their workplace culture, stopping burnout, but also turning them into the individuals that they deserve to be. At Gold Mind Thoughts, we practice from a science and proven evidence-based framework that unlocks your gold mind. It turns you into the person that you are destined to be by training you up, sideways, and downwards to allowing you to bring the best, allowing you to shape and reshape your professional, your personal, but making sure that you are whole so you are no longer leading from wounds, but leading from wisdom. Let's talk about grief. Many people hear the term grief and they think about grieving someone who has passed away. But what happens when you have to grieve the living? I know a lot about that. And grieving the living, I had to learn what it looked like to grieve myself as being someone who is now terminally ill, need a double lung transplant, have right side heart failure, and also have lupus. I'm not able to run up and down the sidelines with my son or with my great niece anymore. But what I am able to do, I am able to use every day as a lesson. I am able to take that challenge that may have broken others, but actually it just shifted gears for me. It allowed me to dig in deep and step into a purpose that God was now bestowing upon me. So this purpose leads me to reshape the way individuals think about grief. It allows me to use my challenges as a vehicle to push me forward, to push boundaries, and to never get comfortable with just being comfortable because comfortability is nothing but conformability, and you don't want to be conformed. You want to make sure that you are shifting. You want to make sure that you are challenging. You want to make sure that you are growing and always developing. So, what my grief has taught me, what those challenges has taught me, is to use this thing called life as a vehicle that's going to continue to ever change. I am no longer allowing life to live me. I am now living life. Let's talk about intentionality. I want to take you to a day that is painful to talk about, but it's necessary to talk about because there's so many people in the world right now who is experiencing something similar. In 2017, I lost my only nephew to gun violence. I can remember clear as day. I was at work prepping for my son's senior night at high school. He's a football player. I was preparing all the big bobbleheads, and we were just all getting ready for senior homecoming. And I got the phone call that said Melcorn has been shot. And in that moment, like my body froze. I had no idea what to do because so many things was happening in my mind. Like, shot, what do you mean shot? How could somebody do this to us, our family, people who are always in the community, people who are always giving more than they have? Like, everyone knows our family. How could this happen? And as I was rushing to the hospital, I remember seeing my sister as my brother-in-law was walking towards us, and he was shaking his head. And in that moment, we knew. And my sister just fell to the ground, and she let out such a heavy scream that it shifted me out of my body because I knew at that moment I not only lost my nephew, but I lost my sister as well. I may not have lost her in the sense of her passing, but I did lose in the sense of she lost her mind. And so that brings me to intentionality because it's important that you pay attention and you spend time with those who mean the most to you. It's important that you use your personal days at work. It's important that use your you use your sick days to go to the doctor and check up. It's important that you not pass up on family activities because you never know when it's going to be the last time that you see someone. I raised my nephew side by side with my sister. So for me, it was like losing my child as well. And then from that, I just went into saving mode. I knew that I had to keep my sister here. I knew that I had to make sure that my son was okay because he lost his biggest brother, he lost his cousin, his confidant, all wrapped up in one. But most importantly, what I didn't realize is I didn't realize that I was losing myself mentally and I was showing up to work leading from wounds instead of wisdom. I was causing harm to those that I was working with because I was leading from anger. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I want you to be intentional about how you spend your time, who you are around, and the way you show up at work. If I could go back in time and talk to my 21-year-old self, I would say, girl, come on, let's sit down, let's have a chat because I have some things to tell you. First, I want to say dream big. And why dreaming big is important? I would share this story with her about remembering what it felt like in high school, sitting in the back of the classroom, um, and realizing that everyone else was moving on with their life, but I was stuck in fear. So I didn't go to college right away. I didn't go to college right away because I listened to someone else that told me that I probably wasn't ready to be out on my own. And so, right there in that moment, it shot my dreams down. And so, I want to say to her, I want to say, dream big, dream in color, but dream with action. Even if that action means you doing something that everyone else is telling you you wouldn't be great for, I want you to go for it. Next, I would say live by your own expectations. And tying into me not going into college right away, I then became the person who became always wanted to please other people because I was so busy trying to be that whoever someone else wanted me to be. I was so busy trying to be perfect for other people, but my dreams were sitting on the sideline. I didn't publish my books right away. I stopped writing. I stopped being super creative because other people told me I needed to do something else or that wasn't fit for me, being someone of plus size. And so I want you to make sure that you are setting your own expectations and you are living up to your own rules, standards, and boundaries. not anyone else's. And lastly, I want you to live life to the fullest. Don't wait for someone else to bring you along. If it's something that you want to do and you can't find a vehicle, build it. I wanted to be a scientist, and so I didn't go about it the way the traditional way that everyone else said to go. I needed to do, but what I did do was I did my own homework. I did my own research, and although it took me through a different challenges and different roadblocks, I never gave up on myself. And that meant staying in college a little longer, starting a little late, working multiple jobs. However, I'm proud of who I am now. And so I want you to know that you will be proud of who you become once you start living for yourself. So dream big, live up to your own expectations, and live life without any regrets. In just the last year, more than 400,000 Black women lost their jobs. That is a lot of women starting over. That is a lot of brilliance that went out the door. That is a lot of trauma that has been inflicted. I mention that because right now we are in a state of emergency. We are in a state of emergency where women all over the world are having to start over, and they sometimes don't know where to do it because they were operating from I'm doing just fine, not realizing that they were still in the trenches. They had the best job, great salary, nice cars, can travel what they want. But then when that was snatched away, they were brought to a place of redefining themselves. And that's where I come in at. At Gold Mind Thoughts, we not only reshift and shape and mold your mindset, we help develop you so that you can utilize the brilliance you already possess and turn it into something wonderful. We help you architect your new life. At Gold Mind Thoughts, we use evidence based approaches that allow you to step into your purpose. So, what we're going to be doing, is we are going to be healing the world. We are going to be changing the way we show up in boardrooms, the way we show up in our communities, and the way we show up in life. I'm going to be working with you side by side. This is not a framework that you can get anywhere else. Where else can you get a doctoral, researched behavioral scientist who have lived and walked in similar shoes as you? There are a lot of consultants out there, but they don't bring what I bring to the table. Every program, every framework that I have is built and curated to unlock your golden mindset. It brings you a golden experience from trauma to triumph to our gold mind 8-step framework, along with mental mapping methodology, all intellectual property that I curated from myself. So, if you're ready to stop living and operating from survival mode, and you're ready to start thriving, then Gold Mind Thoughts is the business for you. Why do companies hire us? They hire us because they're looking for someone that they can trust. They're looking for someone credible. And when you think about trust, you say, well, why do they need to trust you? They need to trust me because when you're dealing with trauma-informed practices, you never know what wounds were going to be open. But you also want to make sure that you have someone that can close them as well. There's no shortage of consultants. There's no shortage of coaches that know about trauma, but what there are shortages of are behavioral scientists. There are shortages of behavioral scientists who also are ordained ministers, who are also strong leaders in their community, but who have also lived through all the challenges that they speak to. And so that's how I build that credibility and that trust, because I have walked through the fire and I have come out on the other side. And I have the frameworks that work and proven people behind it, proven strategies behind it. You don't get a cookie cutter approach. What you get is customized systems that are tailored to what your needs are. The goal is to solve your problem, not everyone else's. So let me tell you about a client I had. I was working with this nonprofit organization they were experiencing a lot of high turnover. The employees were unhappy, and they just couldn't really get to where they needed to be. They were doing great work, but they couldn't get exactly to where they needed to be. So they brought me in, and what did I do? I gave them the golden experience. Not only did I triage the situation, but I helped them to understand and see where their pain points were coming from, to develop the systems alongside of them, but left them with sustainable actions that they were able to carry and continue to change and develop. So that's what you get when you're working with Goldmine Thoughts. When you're working with Goldmine Thoughts, you're getting a custom strategic plan that works directly for your organization, for you personally, or for your community. Goldmine Thoughts is about uplifting. Goldmine Thoughts is about shifting. But equally important, Goldmine Thoughts is about helping you architect your legacy. So, what did I enjoy about this Making an Entrepreneur docuseries? Where do I start? I don't even know if I have enough time. Let me tell you about Shay Brown and his organization. They not only deliver, but they hold your hand from beginning to end. I mean, from preparation on calls to makeup to styling to just making sure that you are your best self and you are showing up like you already $1,000,000. And who doesn't want to feel like that? I'm 5'4", but when I walked in here, I was feeling like I was 6'4", and that's what they help do. And Making an Entrepreneur, they allow you to stand in your glory. So if you haven't already signed up to do your docuseries, I don't know what you're waiting for. You better call Shay Brown.